everybody. Welcome to Teal's Roadhouse. Good to be here with y'all this week. My new friend Drake White's in the house, man. How are you, man?
Fantastic. How
Man, it's so good to have you. Yeah.
Good to be here, dude. I'm a big fan.
Thank you very much.
Long-time fan, so it's an honor.
I understand that you've been having quite the life journey, man. Been a lot of highs and lows. You know, I know you've been out with the Riley some this year.
Mm-hmm.
I got to do that last year. That was a great experience, man. How's that experience been for you on some positive things going on in your life?
Yeah, it's been good, man. I mean, we're from the same neck of the woods, you know. We're literally from about 3 miles from each other. So it's just a crazy. You've been doing this long enough where there's no really coincidences. There's no really, people say, well, I'm just from a little old bitty town. Well, everybody is, you know?
Yeah.
And we grew up in just kind of a heavenly type place, you know, with me being in Hoax Bluff, and he was like from the bigger city in Jacksonville. They live in the country now, but so we're cut from the same cloth, and, you know, we carry pocket knives and, you know, talk hunting and talk fishing and just, you know, yes sir, no ma'am, that type of stuff. And that's how we were raised. So it's good, man. And watching his success has been awesome. I mean, it couldn't happen to a better dude. I didn't grow up knowing Riley. Riley kind of is 4 or 5 years younger than me. And honestly, I kid with him all the time. His music, he was just learning, and he was trying to figure out kind of his path. And it wasn't what it is now. I mean, I'm not saying it was bad. I'm not saying it was good. It was just, he was trying to open up and do some stuff around town. And I remember saying, nah, man, he's just not there yet. Yeah. And I'm not saying that to demean him. And like, he's a good buddy of mine. I'm saying it because I just, like, it took me a second, but once he got into Nashville and started writing and started really sinking into it, he put in that work ethic of that athleticism that he has. He put that towards songwriting and towards, you know, social media. And he, you know, obviously got in really, really good shape. And, you know, I mean, I'm tickled to death for him. It's awesome.
You know, and I think too, you know, you talk about trying to find your own lane and everything. And I think it takes a while sometimes for those things to line up for an artist, because it's not only about having talent. Mm-hmm. It's about finding the right niche where there's a lane that's yours that nobody else is in at that particular time, a place on the format and the charts where you've got a place to go. And sometimes you don't even know. Sometimes you stumble upon it. Sometimes the label kind of guides you in that direction. But I think Riley kind of being that, you know, that having some of those real sensual songs that have done so well for him, he's kind of stumbled into that thing that has become his own little sound and his own deal that he's doing, which has been very cool. And you're in a completely different direction. I mean, you're soulful singer, man, just the power that you have. It's a whole different direction. You seem like you came out of the womb with that voice. I mean, guys like us, I mean, we were singing that stuff when we were little kids, man. We kind of came out knowing kind of where we were and what we wanted to do.
Yeah, that's for sure, man. I mean, it didn't come to me till later in life. You know, I grew up in church. My dad is a fantastic singer. Yeah. Mom's a fantastic singer. Grandfather played piano by ear, was a preacher, like was just kind of, you know, real charismatic dude and great storyteller. And so I just grew up. He was a great trapper, great hunter, great fisherman. And I just grew up with the love of words and and the love of really people and showing people a good time. And that's how it started. Yeah, I went to school at Auburn, and, you know, one thing led to another. I had an old Martin guitar and started playing with a guy on accident. Just literally, we didn't have any money. He didn't have any money, and we were trying to figure out how to do that and how to get with girls and all that stuff. And, you know, I was 21 years old before I was like, oh yeah, this is easy. It was easy to me. Singing Simple Man and singing She Talks to Angels and getting up there and doing my thing was easy. Where in the past, I had to hit baseball practice until my hands bled to be as good as the other guys, you know. Yeah. Same way with football, same with stuff like that. So it really was like a God thing of like, oh, this is what you're good at. This is what God gave you the ability to do. And then I was like, well, I think I can move to Nashville. I think I can compete with these radio guys, and just started writing and knew all those thoughts and all those things. Like I was just like enamored by how easy all that stuff came to me. And then once I started doing it, it seemed easy. And then once I sunk my teeth into it and embarked on this journey, it has just been, I mean, I've been doing it since 2011 was my first tour with Jamie Johnson and Randy Houser and Willie Nelson. It's called the Throwdown Tour. And man, I know everybody has their times and everybody has their things, but the book that I'm writing is it's a scenic route to stardom. Let me tell you, like it's been, I pride myself on live music and making kind of a revival-esque type show with that you could drink a beer at, you know, and I pride myself on that live show and that kind of Jimmy Buffett, Grateful Dead type following. I'm obsessed with that, of keeping those fans served, and that's what's served me.
I can hear in your voice. You said the word charismatic a while ago, and I grew up going to charismatic churches with my grandmother when I was young too. So I know that vibe, and just hearing your voice and I can visualize how you approach what you do with your stage setup and everything, man. Is that something you just kind of stumbled into, or did you just grow up and when all the music started happening, you just said, this is how I'm supposed to approach this? You know, just trying to get people to have that revival mentality and getting people lifted up and get people moving. Is that your approach to it?
Yeah, it is. I think it's just naturally where I go. You know, I've always just kind of, I love the outdoors. I love being outside, and my grandfather was a very natural guy. Like, pay attention to the wind, pay attention which way the wind's blowing, know which way's north, carry a pocket knife, know what the tracks are doing, know your surroundings in other ways. So, like, I've always just kind of naturally lent myself to like this energetic, like I like a high energy, you know, type deal. I like everybody. I fancy myself laid back, and I know how to chill and be laid back. But when it's time to get it, I like to get it. You know.
I understand, man. So, how have you developed your songwriting skills? I mean, just kind of stumbling into it. Did you study structure? I mean, how did you kind of find how you were going to write songs? Where was your inspiration from for all that?
I'm a freestyler. You know, my sister is a 2.5 years older than me. So growing up, all the Dr. Dre and all the rap stuff was happening. I loved Willie and Waylon because of my uncle, Vietnam veteran. He's 83 years old and a great storyteller. And so I had that traditional country, but I had this motor like you're catching, and I had this sister that was listening to Sublime and, you know, Tupac and all this. And then I loved Roger Miller. I loved his cosmicness, you know, it's like Cosmic Cowboy, just crazy. I love that, the way he can't roller skate in a buffalo herd. Like, what does that even mean? I like the John Prine kind of weird, whimsically way of writing. And so I just fuse those together, Tracy, and like, I don't think about it. I don't think like, I just, until I do, I think about phrases a lot, but I hear things and like a lot of it's just a flow of consciousness, and then I just kind of spit it out.
Kind of comes to you in cadence kind of form, and you can just get a kind of a
cadence is a great way to put it. And then I'll write it down. I'll be like, oh, that's trash, and then I'll fill in where. But that's why, you know, the co-writing stuff's so fun. You know, me and Brent Cobb have grown up. I know you know Brent.
Oh yeah.
And Brent's one of my favorite writers, if not my favorite. And we've been buddies since that Throwdown tour. We've been buddies since I moved here. And we had no idea what we were doing. I just knew, man, whatever that guy's got, you know, I knew he was special. And that cadence, the way I phrase something rhythmically, like, and it's also, I think, the reason that I haven't had this big smash, these big, huge smashes. Like, a lot of that in commercial writing, that we were trying to get these big, long, understandable things. Yeah. Well, that ain't me, brother. Like, it's I like interline rhymes. I like quick things, and sometimes that's not conducive to to the biggest commercial smash.
But I think things have evolved in the last few years too. You know, guys like Jelly have kind of brought that rap rock element in, and there's a lot of, you know, independent artists that are doing so great. They might not be having radio commercial success, but they're putting a lot of butts in the seats out there, and
Yeah.
that's pretty inspiring for guys like you. It's got to be, because
Yeah.
I mean, you're one viral click away from, man, that whole thing exploding on you.
It is, and I wanna clarify for the listeners out there, like, it's not, for me, it's not, and I love Jelly, but it's not necessarily the rap, the cult forward, the thing that's it's the flow. I'm a singer. I'm a soul singer. I think the best singer in the world's Chris Stapleton, and I think probably in all genres, probably of all time in my mind. I mean, I don't even think it's. I mean, it's obviously arguable because it's subjective, but I love singers, man. And I grew up like that. So the phrasing and the rhythmic, the quickness of the way, the energy that I have is, it's a lot. It's intense. And I like writing like that. But I like a singer's song, you know, Making Me Look Good Again, or this Night's on Fire, this new one I got. I mean, that's a hammer. You better get ready to sing if
You
you're
got to
gonna
lay
sing
into
that.
it.
You gotta,
Man. Absolutely.
you can't just kind of Peter Pan around that. I was about to say something else, but you can't just come up to it and
I'm
just,
with you, brother.
you know? And there's stylistic singers, you know, like yourself. I consider yourself a stylistic singer, and like that voice is unmistakable. You know, Riley has found that little whistle, that little southern whistle thing that's like, I'm like, oh man, Dan Huff did a great job, you know. That's it. You got to stick in there and find that and give it time, and that's hard work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of pressure, and I love doing it, and I've loved doing it since I discovered I could do
It's
it.
just amazing to me, as many people as sat there on the couch across from me, man, for all the things that we share, the commonality that we have, you know, which is the passion for the music. We all have our own journey, man, and it all takes us a different time frame. I mean, it's to where the stars to line up. Everybody's got a different story to tell with all the similarities that we have. It's just fascinating to hear everybody's story. And I know that you've had a lot of health issues in the last several years, and I noticed you were struggling walking in a little bit. Where's your health at these days? How you
Man,
doing?
I feel great. I have some residual stuff from a stroke. It was a stroke back in 2019. We can just dive into it, but like right now, I feel good. I still have some numbness on my left side and some synergy that I'm working through on my left leg. But you know, that is kind of standard where I'm at. It's where
So
I'm going to be.
what was the cause of it? There was the term that I read when I was prepping for it, but I can't remember what the term of it was.
It's called an AVM,
Okay.
arterial venous malformation. It's a wad of veins and arteries that were formed in the embryonic stage in the back right side of my brain, which the back right side of your brain is the mobile cortex to your left side of your body.
Okay.
So it was about the size of a lime, and I was prepping early 2019, January. I got about 14, 15 dates with Zach Brown, and I'd been on the road with Zach Brown probably 50, 60 dates the year before that. Had some good things cooking, man, and we were going to Australia as well. We were going to Bahrain to the troops to play for some troops, and I mean, it felt really good. I'd gotten dropped by my label later in 2018. I just felt really, because we'd built this fan base. I felt extremely excited about what I was going to be able to go do, and so I was like, man, I'm gonna go get in the best shape of my life. I'm gonna go out here. I've always been a runner. I've always been a worker. You know, I like working out. I like doing that stuff, but I'm gonna go do it. And so I started running, and I got a headache one day. And that headache put me in a MRI, and that MRI showed that massive veins and arteries that had been there for, you know, my whole life. And Tracy, like most people find these things at the age of 60 or 70, you know, 50, 60, and they just find them in a ditch.
So it wasn't like a tumor. It was like just a wad, a mass of things that didn't develop properly,
Right.
that were just kind of wadded up. Is
They
that
were
am I-
robbing adequate blood flow from the, because every now and then I'd have tingling in my fingers fretting a guitar or something. You
Did
know?
they have to go in and take pieces of that out? How did the doctors approach that?
It's called an embolization or coiling. They go through your femoral artery with a catheter, and they go up your femoral artery into the back of your neck, and they access your brain. They go in there and they squeeze this stuff called onyx in there, and they glue it shut little bitty bits at a time. And because the brain will withstand small changes
And reroute.
and reroute. It doesn't do good with drastic changes. So he said that he was going to need about 8 of these embolizations because it was the biggest AVM that he had ever worked on, and he'd worked on 30,000, he said.
Wow.
By the way, my doctor's name was Dr. Miracle, his real name. And so I trusted him, and we embarked on this, and I said, hey, I'm a performer. Can we schedule these things where I get these done on Mondays and Mondays, rest Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and be back on the road? And he said, I mean, this guy's a neurosurgeon, so he's like, yeah, I think we can. I think we can do that. And that's all I needed to hear. So we go out and start playing shows, armed with some blood pressure medicine, and we go out. I remember the first surgery like it was yesterday, and we went out in Monday, got back out, rested Tuesday in the hospital, came back out, rested Wednesday at home. Thursday, the bus was ready. We took off on Thursday to play Friday, Saturday shows. We didn't really do Thursday, Friday, Saturday shows during the,
Yeah.
So, man, I was very nervous to do that at first, but I did one show turned to 10 show turned to 20. July 4th passed. Here comes August. We're 40, 50, 60 shows in, man, and I think I've dodged the bullet. I'm like, all right. Because that was scary to get that news of there's a mass in your brain.
Yeah.
We didn't know if it was cancer. We didn't know what it was. And they come back, and I mean, I'm 34 years old, on tour with Zach Brown. I've kind of got it whooped. Like I'm doing well. I'm doing what I love to do, and I'm a positive guy. I think God puts us in places for a reason, and I'm here for a reason. I'm sitting here for a reason, and had the stroke for a reason. But I felt good about my life, is what I'm saying. And 50 shows in, we go to Roanoke, Virginia, and we've got over half of that thing embolized, and the chances of it rupturing were 2% with it fully functional. So as we embolized it, the chances of it rupturing lessened to less than 1%. And I took the stage in Roanoke, Virginia, and felt normal, jumped around. I used to perform, man, like Chris Ledoux. Like it was just like, let's go. And I mean, I still have that in me, but physically I'm not able to jump around like Eddie Vedder or that kind of stuff. But that's the way I used to go. Veins popping, things. And he said that that's the reason that I'd worn the bumpers off on that mass. And I didn't end up in a ditch at 60. It was 34 and my brain was going, the headache was so unbearable that I had to get an MRI. Because I was a singer, and singing, I would push really hard from my chest, veins popping, that blood pressure would rise, and it would hit that AVM, and I knew something was wrong. So, blessing and a curse. But being a singer and taking that stage in Roanoke, and I just remember cutting into about the third song and just feeling a little off, but kind of backing up, outdoor amphitheater, cotton candy skies, 2,500 people, beautiful. Virginia's beautiful. And I'm just like, I back up and I can't really remember the words to my song, which is kind of normal. But I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, man, I feel weird. And about that time, dude, I hear what sounded like a gunshot go off. Like, I mean, it was like, pow. And I remember just like not being able to lift my head. And my left arm was like completely numb. My left leg felt like it had a bowling ball on it. And I knew right then, that it had ruptured. I was like, I'm having a stroke. And I remember thinking, all right, we need to get, my wife packed a folder in my bag full of medical information of this is what's going on. My tour manager knew it. EMTs were watching. Tracy, they took me off stage. The EMT knew exactly what, he had been prepped before the show.
So y'all were prepping at every show.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I got you.
Absolutely. Taking blood pressure, taking in everything.
So I've had a couple of friends that have had strokes over the years. One in particular that was a booking agent. And when his happened, I think he was in a shower, and he said the whole floor started moving. Were you having that hallucinogenic kind of thing where the depth perception went away and you're just like, oh, crap? I mean, what were you experiencing like that?
The sky was green and the grass was blue. Like everything flipped upside down.
Gotcha.
And so I was like, I'm having a stroke. I got to get to the hospital. And then I just concentrated. I remember thinking, as long as I'm breathing, I'm alive. And I remember thinking a long time ago, somebody told me, when you breathe, you make the noise, the sound of Yahweh.
Amen.
You make the sound of Jesus. And so I just remember saying Yahweh over and over and over, and just, but you know what was cool? I never was scared. I never was fearful, anything. I'd already made peace with, like, look, I'm going to ride this. And I think that's the peace that faith gives you. It's the peace that faith, like all this stuff of Charlie Kirk and all this stuff of, I'll go down this rabbit hole, but
we can go down any rabbit hole you want to go down, brother.
I just think that it just, the faith gave me that so much, not in the sense of like, I mean, I've been a barstool captain my whole life. Like, I've been able to come in and talk, politics and religion. I don't talk politics and religion much, but like, I've been able to talk to people, so have you, on bar stools my whole life. And so I kind of wear that as a badge of honor, that I can go in with the sinners and the saints, and I can do that. But that faith, man, and, I just remember not being scared and just being like, all right, as long as you say Yahweh, you'll be all right. They rushed me to the hospital. I get there in 3 minutes. I'm in a trauma 1 level unit. I get in, and they administer a coagulant that stopped the brain bleed within 15 minutes of it starting. So it saved my life. And I remember them talking about putting in a port. And I remember studying sepsis and how dangerous ports were, opening the brain up and all that stuff. And I remember thinking, please do not. My worst fear was that I would be brain dead, and that I would have to depend on Alex, my wife, to do everything for me. And I'd just be like,
Existing.
Yeah. And I didn't want to do that. And I'd already told her I didn't want to do that. But I was living that right now. I mean, I'm on my way to the hospital, and I'm like, this has just happened, and sky's blue, sky's green, grass is blue. I'm in this trippy world of, that. And man, they administered that, got it to quit bleeding. And that's where, this whole thing happened with these figures were in the corners of the room, like these very confident, just peaceful, like 6'5" tall, like out of the movie Troy figures were in the corners of the room. And they were just peacefully shaking their head.
Watching over you?
Just watching.
Yeah.
Just watching. And I thought they were doctors. I thought, because it was a very, very Vanderbilt-esque school. meaning that they were teaching while all this was going on. There's dozens of people in there because they were trying to figure out how to save me and what to do and what to administer and all this stuff. And I just remember those figures in the corner of the room. And take us out of this and get me. I end up back home months later, and I'm on the front porch watching the supermoon. My front porch points east, and me and my wife are out there, and we see a cloud go by that looked like the Archangel Michael, a painting that we have. And I said, that looks like, and we said an angel at the same time. And Alex goes, you know, it's a 7-hour trip from Nashville to Roanoke. Did you know I prayed the whole time that he would put angels in the corner of the room? And I told her that story. I said, there was 4 figures in each corner of the room that I could not explain. And I never had a fear, never had a fear of dying, never had anything. She said, ask him to take it away. And, you know, from that, I've always had faith, man. I've always loved being in a band, loved being in a tour bus. I've always loved being on the road, loved people, loved the music. And tomorrow's going to be better than today. I've always had that feeling. But man, now going through that in a time that should have probably been the scariest time of my life, and just knowing that I was not afraid at all. And I had those 4 angels because in the one word of asking the Father to bring those angels, and they were present in the room, and it's real. And I tell people all the time, like, it's such a thin veil. It was such a, and I'm sitting here today telling you, like, prayer works. Prayer works, man.
Oh, without a doubt.
And it's the reason I'm here.
We are doing a Bible study, my wife and I and some friends, and we are in the book of Acts right now. And as you study through that and you go back and you go through all the miracles and the things that Jesus did as he walked on this earth, you realize, man, that the things that we take so much for granted, but we have so little control over the things that are going on around us, man. It's amazing that we think we're so invincible when we're young, and you know, we have this bullish mentality, but man, we're so frail. We really are. And you're living proof of that, man. And to be able to come out of it the other side, and there has to be a divine purpose. I always believe there is, you know, and whether it's a song that moves one person down the road or moves 1 million people, there's something there that you're supposed to do. And I know you have to believe that too. Yeah. There's a purpose for all of us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I believe that. And just the fact that we're...
How long was the recovery journey before you were actually able to get back on the road again and be able to work?
Yeah,
again?
man. That's interesting. That's a twofold question, because August 2019, August, September, October, November, December, what are we getting into?
Holidays.
We're getting into the pandemic.
Gotcha.
We're getting into 2020.
Yeah, that shut down in the first week of March in 2020. Yep.
So I go through some pretty bad rock bottom, has a basement type thoughts.
Yeah.
To go from what we get to do every day, you know, and be in front of these crowds, kind of be the boss, and you're out there doing your thing and you're living your dream, and then your wife's having to help you use the restroom, and you know, you're asking when you're going to go to Australia, and your manager's going, hey, you might want to tell him. Nobody's taking you serious. And that's one of my pet peeves. Like, if I tell you something, like, you better write it down. Like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And I just sensed people not taking me like I was crazy. And I thought I was going crazy. And that mental journey, dude, coming back from that, it helped break down all the walls of the Alabama framing mentality, house framing mentality of, like, why is that some bitch on the side of the road? Like, why don't he get a job? Like, I had empathy for these people. And then I started realizing oh, that's why. That might be a reason that I'm going through it, is to have empathy for all people, because that's the way, I'd learned about Jesus. My parents brought me up. We had talked about the Word and talked about the Bible, but I've always traveled a lot too, and had kind of liberal thoughts about ideas and things. And not that I wasn't a Christian, I just had and I still do. I have openness with a lot of things.
I tend to embrace the strange and the unique and the different, and that's because I think I have a love and a respect and appreciation for all people, no matter what their walk of life is and what lifestyle they live. I might not agree with it, but I try real hard to not be real judgmental and give people the benefit of the doubt and try to love them. I mean, I've never been in a bar fight. I've been in bars my entire life since I was a kid. I've been playing in honky-tonk since I was 14, 15 years old.
Yeah.
I've always been able to navigate my way around all those things, even in some really rough joints, because I never came in with that chip on my shoulder. I was always, trying to understand why people were the way that they were, even if I didn't agree with them. I still tried to understand where they were coming from.
Oh, me too, man.
That's a gift, man.
That's great, dude.
It
That
really
is such a
is.
great thing, dude.
And I think, you mentioned
It's
it a while
great.
ago, and it might be a good time for us to shift to another point of conversation. I think that's what really has affected me so much about Charlie Kirk's assassination, because I'd met Charlie a couple of times, and I know a lot of people in that orbit. I'm very connected in that circle of people. And to see the cold harshness of the way that so many people have responded to that's been really hard.
Yeah, it's evil.
It's been really hard for me to digest.
Yeah.
How did you respond to all that? How was it for you?
Still am. Man, I'm still processing what you just said. It's just such a gift, man, that my mom was a cosmetologist, and my dad worked at Goodyear, and like I used to be like, man, everybody, it'd be easier if we were rich. But now looking back,
But
it's
no,
just,
it wouldn't.
it's like,
I don't
no, man,
know.
like what I learned how to grow a tomato, run a trot line, and like we had so much fun on a found flat bottom boat and trying to figure that out. And just having openness for all people and understanding tattoos on your face and that kind of thing. I've been judgmental. I mean, I'm a
Oh,
human being,
Yeah.
but at the same time, like I really appreciate that about you. Like that, I appreciate that about people in travel. I think Hemingway wrote, "Travel negates all racism and bigotry," and we get to go to 130 cities a year.
Yeah.
We see all these people, and I'm getting to the answer of Charlie. But I went to a Bible study in a little old church called Green Valley Baptist, my in-laws' church, little bitty church. It's Thursday morning breakfast, men's prayer breakfast. And I wasn't going to say nothing. I just wanted to sit there and be around a bunch of old guys because I love them. I love listening to the way they make a old Holly carburetor run, or the way they do a fence row, or like they forgot more than I'll ever know, man. I love to listen to them, especially when they start talking about the Word.
Yeah.
And they were so doom and gloom about, and I was 40 in there. Rightly so. Rightly so, they were so doom and gloom. And they were, you could feel their anguish in their
About society.
and their kids. They were crying.
I understand.
Their kids and their grandkids. Like, will they ever, like, I just feel so bad for them. And I got this pull in my heart. And I promise I went to eat some sausage and eggs and just sit there. I was like, please don't say anything. And I felt God, like, I get this beating in my chest when I'm supposed to. And I was like, oh no. I'm about to light into these old men. And I not that I would anything disrespectful, but I was like, and this is coming back to Charlie Kirk, the answer. Gentlemen, I get an opportunity I said, I'm Drake White, by the way. I'm Jimmy Mizes' favorite son-in-law. And I get to go to sometimes 150, 200 cities a year. And I said, man, I quit watching the news a long time ago. I'm from Hokes Bluff. I'm from right over the mountain. I love these cities. This is the greatest place on earth. These little bitty churches are the greatest. I love the King James. I love what you're doing. I'm not degrading it. But y'all are doing the same thing every day. You watch Fox. You watch CNN. You watch it. It's cyclical. It's going around. It's going around because that's what your daddy did. That's what your daddy's daddy did. I said, I'm not saying I'm better. I just get to go to 150 cities a year, and I shake the hands of the bricklayers and the teachers. I shake the hands of the young guys that are in the Appleseed tournament, shooting 22 rifles, and the Navy SEALs, all the way from the Eagle Scouts to the Navy SEALs and everything, the hairdresser and you do it too. I've watched you. I'm a big fan, man. And I said, there's no division in those 150 cities. There is, but in those shows, and I know they're coming to my country show, I get it, but I get out, I watch. The division is creating worry and money. The devil's running the world. The Screw Tape Letters, C.S. Lewis, read that book if y'all have it. It's amazing. 1908 it was written, and it talks about the devil hides right in plain sight. And I said, God, I'm talking to these 80-year-olds, and I'm like, all I got to say is there is hope out there because there's way more good people than bad. And I met a couple of shitheads, but for the most part, man, there's people praying, there's flags being saluted, and I know I'm in this genre of people, so I get that but I see the other side too. And all I'm saying is turn the TV off and come to the football game. Go to the show. Go and come to this I love this prayer breakfast. It's 30 guys in here talking about if the crappie are biting or not. And I said, man, and it fires me up, Tracy. I'm 42 years old as of day before yesterday. Friday. This is my time. This is our time to be alive. I'll be damned if somebody's going to tell me it's a shitty time to be alive. This is my time. I've got a 2.5-year-old. I've got a wife. She's beautiful. He's beautiful. I got a net 69 Bronco, and I got a church that I love going to. I eat Mexican food twice a week because it's my favorite. I have a margarita, and I, sing too loud on stage about 4 times a week. It's my time. I'm not going into this CNN Fox bullshit of what they want to push me. My only thing is the sun. My only filter is the Son of God. And I'm looking to him. And he says, it's all written right there. All of this, it's a shit show.
Oh, yeah. And the media is just stoking the fire and creating division all the time. Sometimes you got to back off of it. We were talking about that when I got the bus station. There was a lot of stuff going on this morning. I said, I just had to turn it off. There's times I can't digest anymore. It's just too overwhelming. There's just way too much stuff going on.
And those old men, man.
Yeah.
Those old men, they push back, and Brother Harold Coe's the preacher, and I've grown to love him, and their old jowls were flopping, and they were like, oh my gosh. And it's like I didn't even say that. I in my head, I was like, dang, I hope I didn't offend anybody. And I told Jimmy that, and Jimmy was like, that was amazing. And I'm not saying that to get, I didn't even know what I was going to say. It's just like, man, it is our time. It's 2025. It's October. It's right now. And there's a lot of crap out there. I get it. But anything past August 16th of 2019 for me is a bonus. And I'm good. We've been through, Alex has had her health things. After my stroke, she had all of her health things. Then we had 7 years of infertility. And we just, not to get, we had the little boy, and he's 2.5. we just gave birth to a little girl and got to spend 30 minutes with her, and she passed away. We had to, and it was horrible. It was horrible. Why are we going through all this stuff? And every time God comes and says, it's okay. It's okay. I have a plan. And I believe in that plan. And I don't know what that plan is now with the baby. That was horrible. That was like 3 or 4 weeks ago. Like,
That's awful.
horrible. But I'm sitting here
Yeah.
and I'm talking about it because we're blessed. We are.
In spite of all the bad things that are going on in the world, we are very, very blessed.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we have to be shaken up a little bit to remember it and appreciate all the great things we have going on. I choose to not go around in a negative cloud. I refuse to. There's
Yeah.
too many things to be thankful for in this world. Every day, man, that you wake up when the sun's coming up, it's a great day to freaking be alive.
Yeah.
What's Christmas like at your house?
No, man.
Paint me that picture, man. I want
It's
to hear it.
loud, blonde headed.
Do you go home and spend holidays with your family? Is that still a transition that you do
Yeah.
go back to the family time?
We go, it's 2.5 or 3 hours south. I go right past Randy Owen's house, or, right past Fort Payne there, and we slide into Hoax Bluff. And it's just, it's loud. It's a lot of talking. Our family's very loud and boisterous, and we're all hunters, so we're all talking that. We love football. We're all masters of the grill and some or the
Oh,
the, the fryer.
Is there a Crimson Tide Auburn Tiger division going on with the?
I graduated from Auburn, but check this out. My grandfather was the biggest Alabama fan you ever met. His brother was the team dentist back in Bear Bryant days.
Yeah.
So that Alabama thing is very real, and it's amazing. But growing up a huge Alabama fan with my dad and loving what Nick Saban has done the last 15 years, it's been amazing to watch, and there's a lot of pride associated with that. Auburn is the good old boy ag school. It is the engineering school. It is so building science was my major, because I was going to work construction and have my own construction company, and just got that Martin guitar. And sometimes I wish I would have just kept building houses, and building, but it just wasn't my calling. My calling was that Martin guitar. But yeah, I remained an Alabama fan while I went to Auburn to prove to my dad that I would. And then when I got out of college and I grew and I, matured, I was like, I don't need to prove anything to anybody. So I love Auburn. I love the excellence of Alabama football, but I love Auburn, and I love that city, and it was so good to me. The people, I did so many crazy things, and it's just a SEC school, and it was on.
College was a great experience for me too. I didn't go to an SEC school, but I grew up in Arkansas, so I'm a struggling Razorback fan for years, and it's pretty painful.
That's pretty similar to Auburn.
Well, yeah, because we've had a lot of lows, and we just fired Pittman last week. They've had an awful season this year, and Coach Pittman's a nice man. I've got to visit with him. I mean, he's a good man, good coach. It was just time for a change. It's just rough being an Arkansas Razorback fan these days. Yeah, and I have to tell you that I was sure rooting for Vandy this past weekend. Yeah. It's I was watching that ball game. I love my college football, man.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. And I like chicken wings,
Oh, yeah.
I love chicken wings and chili. We're about to do the chili thing.
Yeah.
You can't beat it, man. And
So being a family of grill masters, what's your specialty?
man, it's probably Boston butt. I love burn ends. I love that kind of thing. But just like sitting around now with Traegers and stuff like that, it's getting pretty easy.
It's pretty freaking easy. Yeah.
But getting and don't get me wrong, I love I love my Traeger. But just really those stories, it's all about storytelling. I mean, cosmetologists, Vietnam veterans, and preachers. So Alex, my wife's dad, is he loves to sing and tell stories and sit around that grill and just fan that flame, put a little hardwood in here and there, and try to figure out how to just get it a little more perfect. But Ribs. I got a good rib recipe as well, but
Yeah.
Boston butt, I can do that.
I got a good rib recipe, and I love doing spatchcock chicken too. And I like to smoke turkeys at Thanksgiving too. I cook a lot of turkeys at Thanksgiving. That's kind of like my deal these days.
Yeah.
I'm having my biggest turkey fry this year. We're going to cook 2,000 turkeys for the homeless here at Thanksgiving. the week of
Nice.
Thanksgiving. Yeah, it's been my 20th anniversary doing that. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
That's cool, man. I have to
Yeah,
check
but I
that
like
out.
those smoked turkeys, man. You ought
I
to
do
come
too.
participate with us. We set up down at the fairgrounds Tuesday, the week of Thanksgiving, and we have big smokers come in. We have 120 individual fryers. It'll be about
Off
200.
Wedgwood.
Yep, right there at the Nashville Fairgrounds on the pavilion. So we'll have about 250, 300 volunteers. We'll cook turkeys all day and feed a lot of folks through the week of Thanksgiving. It's pretty freaking awesome, man.
I like smoked turkeys too.
Yeah.
I've not found this way. My cousin, I call him my cousin. I think he's my uncle, but I think he's my
Well, it is Alabama.
whatever. Hey, Arkansas. You can't. I mean, good Lord.
I was waiting.
I got a bunch of Arkansas buddies that I
Yeah.
duck hunt with, and man, they are just open because they love Pittman. I mean, but anyway, back to the turkey. The fried turkey is hard to beat if you can lock the moisture in that turkey.
That's it.
People that don't know what they're doing, it's just like you can have a turkey. I love hunting turkey, and I like a wild turkey as well. But the peanut oil fried turkey thing with that encrusted kind of skin on the
it's
outside,
awesome.
that's the best.
Yeah.
It's like almost like a chicken finger,
Yeah, it's absolutely wonderful.
turkey fingers.
I don't know. I love the fried turkey, but I love a good smoked turkey too, man. Just something about sticking it on that smoker and letting
Does it like lock it
does
the
for me.
moisture in better for you?
It does for me.
That makes sense.
Yep, I like it a whole lot. But I cook a lot. I usually cook a lot for the holidays. We'll usually have, Thanksgiving is a big holiday for us. It's a little bit more low key at the holidays. My dad's passed away, but we usually have a house full for Thanksgiving. We'll have 20 or 30 people for Thanksgiving.
Over here?
Yeah.
Cool.
It's always a lot of fun.
I love that. Yeah, I like to say the 3-hour drive south is far enough where mom and dad's got to call before they come, but they can come,
Yeah.
And I love where, man, I got lucky. I don't think I ever would have, well, I loved coming to Nashville. I loved like the whole journey of like guitar on my back, when a stranger put up, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But man, I don't think I would have survived if I was riding a Harley out in Whites Creek one day and everybody said, man, that's too far. It's too far. Why would you want to move way out there? And I found the guy that wrote Don't Take the Girl. What's his name? Larry?
Craig Martin, Larry Johnson.
Larry Johnson. Larry Johnson bought his house. And I went out there and it had 8 acres with it. And my wife is one of the best cooks, chefs I've ever, it's amazing. The stuff that we have a full commercial kitchen at our house, full barn, I built me a barn for my Bronco and boats and all that stuff. And Alex took it over and put a commercial kitchen in and made an event space out of it, which was smart. But she made friends with all the ladies around, and she came back and said, Miss Hiles said that she fell down there cleaning the gutters out. She had a big pond, 2-acre pond down in the hollow. And I just asked her cordially, hey, if you ever get ready to sell that property, let me know. Well, I was out on the road way before the stroke, and Alex goes, hey, I forgot to tell you, man, I was having some coffee with Miss Hiles, and she said, make her an offer on that house. She fell down there on that property, and it was another like 10 acres beside our 8 acres. I said, Al, when did she say that? She's like, I don't know, 2 weeks ago. I'm like, goodness gracious. I drove over there as fast as I could, and I said, I made her an offer, and so we bought the property that butts up to our property, and then I hunt 40 or 50 acres around there. That is why I live in Nashville. I love Nashville. I love the songwriters, and it's taught me to be you write with folks, like Brent and, it's just here. This is where it's at.
And it's some of the greatest songwriters in the entire world, man. They're true poets, man. Nashville's, I mean, as far as the structure of the music industry, I've always been blown away by it. The efficiency of the recording process, the outboard gear, everything's a phone call away. From the best background singers in the world, the best songwriters on the freaking planet, the best musicians, everything's right here. This is the mecca for me.
Yeah, man. You can go right with Douglas. Like name the rider, and it's so. But for me, I get off on a tractor. That's why I was late. Probably I have this, problem, with my, our off days are Monday and Tuesday, basically, if you want to call them off days. Well, we're in the middle of hunting season, and I'm trying to get this rain and get these things, and I just pushed it a little bit too far, and then
You
spun
put
around.
plots in the ground?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got everything in the ground, and we got this rain. We hadn't had this rain in forever. I had everything prepped, and I had to go up and do. And a tractor's I had a flat, and then you're this and that, and you're 20 minutes behind. But anyway, I'm sorry. I
all
was
good.
late. My dad would kill me. But that's why I was able to stick in here the rough days of getting dropped or a song not doing what you think a song should do. You go out and you bush hog a little bit. That's what I did before I got a record deal, is bush hogged. Bush hogging Music City is what I used to tell people. And I have a little bit of peace out there where I'm like, oh, I'm going to make this little pad, and I'm going to build this barn, this shed over here, and I'm going to cut up this firewood, and then that's just what I do. I mean, my hands are so sore right now because it's just what I do. It's who I am, and I'm a worker, man. And I always tell people, if you put somebody on a treadmill next to me and said the first one to fall loses, like, I would die before, like, it's just who I am, and that's so the combination of that land and being on that land and just talking to God. I see God in that land and in those tomatoes and honeybees, and just watching my little boy. That's the way I want to do it. I want him like that. It calms me down. Like,
Dude, I am the same way. I spend a lot of time on tractor. I bush hog pretty much everything out here, and it's kind of my
It's a
escape.
lot.
It's my escape when I need to get away from things. I like to get on that tractor and just go for hours and hours and hours and hours. It's pretty satisfying for me. Always has been.
it is, man.
Yep.
It is.
So these two gentlemen back here, that's Derek. Derek plays guitar in the band. Scott plays piano. So
Nice.
y'all got some questions, fellas?
I was reading something about you do an annual event at the Ryman for
Yeah.
brain awareness kind of thing.
Yeah, I've got a big respect for the men and women that serve our country. Got a big respect for traumatic brain injury survivors, really, period. And a lot of brain injuries in our military and in and out. And out of it, I basically told God, like, if you get me out of this hospital, I will make this about you. I will make this about, and I'll tell people every chance I get, just like we have. And I walked out, and I told my manager, I said, I got to do a benefit, to shed light on not just another benefit. Like, I mean, I've been asked we get asked to do something every week.
It's all the time. Yeah.
And I wanted to give somebody how I navigated the rigmarole of insurance companies and being an independent artist, and navigating that was like, I developed an education. So the benefit for the brain is a night dedicated to the battle between our ears. The Hollywood trigger phrase is the mental health. Oh, what's your mental health? What's your mental health? I never understood suicide until that brain injury. And I didn't necessarily consider it, but I understood it, and I looked at it, and that scared the piss out of me. And so I just said, I'm going into the Ryman. I'm going to ask Riley. I'm going to ask Jamie. I'm going to ask Randy, my buddies. And John Party. And we're going to go. I think we raised about $300,000 the first year. I think this year we'll double that, if not more. But what that goes to is I went down to Tijuana and got stem cells. People are scared to death of that. They think that somebody kills a baby and gets the umbilical cord out, and you know, that's none of that's true. It's because Big Pharma doesn't want us actually healing, and that heals you. Like, it's when I have my baby, you donate that umbilical cord. They're learning to get the stem cells out of it. It has literally got my left hand back. I'm playing some open chord tuning. So that night is dedicated to the advocacy of this is how I got through a suicidal level traumatic brain injury. Like, I wanted to just leave and be done. I didn't want to be a burden. I didn't want to get back on stage. I didn't want to go hunting with Riley or any of them because I didn't want to hinder the hunt. Well, I got back to hunting. I got back to everything that I do. And I've got a little limp, and I joke with friends all the time about shark attacks and stuff like that. But that's what that is. This is how I got through it. And all these 2,500 people that come into that night, I think we benefited not Big Brothers Big Sisters, but Miracle found Make-A-Wish. Okay. Make-A-Wish, CPI, which is the stem cells, which people don't know anything about, and Creative Vets. Have you wrote with Creative Vets yet?
I haven't.
It's writing songs about their trauma. You know, we're all products of our trauma, and just teaching people that night. So it is a show where Riley will do a couple of songs, John will do a couple of songs, I'll do 4, 5, 6 songs, but my neurologist comes up and talks about how I got through it. My guy that taught me how to walk again taught me how much of a pain in the ass I was coming in. I was mad. Man. I was angry that God had pulled the rug out from under me. I didn't know why. And just telling people that it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows, because it wasn't. And it's still not today. Like, I still have a hard time. So I just tell people that. And they're like, and it helps. I would like to think it helps a lot of people. So
Sure
that's what
does.
that night's dedicated to.
Very cool. Thank you.
All your social media is under your name.
Yeah.
All that stuff, man. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you taking some time for me and sharing your story with me, man. I really enjoyed getting to know you a little bit, man. It's been an awesome visit.
It's an honor, man. I've got to say this. My grandmother's name was Sue White, and she passed away, but she had an old Riviera, and I'll never forget brother wearing beads, and he smokes a lot of dope. And I got to say, like, we would sing that song, Time Marches On, over and over. She loved that song. And I wrote this song called It Takes Time. And I just thought about time, and I've thought a lot about time since then. So that song's still one of my top 10s. I love just the way whoever wrote that.
Bobby Braddock wrote it by himself.
Of course.
Yeah.
All right, I'll just leave
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So you just like, the line in mine, you'll appreciate this. A bird drops a seed and it blooms in the woods. It takes 200 years to fall from where it stood. It took the hands of a maker and the sweat from his brow to make that tree this guitar that I'm playing now. It takes time. It takes time.
Wow.
It takes time. So it's like, yeah, you've been speaking to me since I was knee-high to a grasshopper, dude. So it is my honor to come in here and be late on you. I'm sorry I was late.
It's all
What an
good,
asshole.
brother. We appreciate you, brother.
Thank
Very
you,
quiet,
man.
everybody.